Yeah, it's the summer cut. It is the summer cut. I am buzzed down.
You need it, sir.
That's exactly right. Makes me more aerodynamic. Flying out the
That's
door that
right.
much faster.
That's right. I'll tell you,
And-
last week I was in Vegas and it was 119 degrees. I had my hair up the whole time. I was like,
It's gonna be different. It's gonna be different. It's gonna be different.
crazy.
Welcome,
don't know.
everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Air conditioning car, air conditioning house, air conditioning.
Did everyone see Abby Drew in the paper today in the Pride story, question mark?
Yeah.
Did people see CBH in the foreword in a story about LGBTQ synagogues? And Rabbi Josh quoted?
Yes. I
Yes.
did see that.
Pretty cool.
Bob Schwartz and Fran Shahar usually are congregants who send out the articles from the forward.
Excellent. You don't want to miss anything.
No.
Hello, everybody.
Who said that?
Hi, Nancy.
Me,
Nancy.
Nancy.
Hey, Nancy.
Hey, Rabbi.
I have a snoring dog here. I'm going to be on mute, but if I have to kick him out, that's why I may get up and do that. So I apologize.
Is he a member, Teresa?
You know what? He's a therapy dog, and I have brought him to CBH when we
Very
met.
cool.
So CBH is one of our places that we go.
You might want to think about associate memberships for
Okay.
One of their dogs
veterinary.
used to stand up at chorus rehearsal.
Rabbi Dale, I love it.
That's true. He does. He did go to chorus rehearsal.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. And when we would all stand up, he would, oh, am I supposed to stand up?
He's very well behaved too.
That sounds like a family membership to me.
Yeah, you could say that.
Yeah.
So nice to see everybody.
It is very nice to see people.
By the way, you guys, I went over to our yard the other day, spent a couple hours and weeded stuff. Everything is looking beautiful. Everything's in bloom. And so the only thing we got to do is get some pine straw down and clean up those magnolia leaves. So I'm going to put something out on the listserv, see if I can get some volunteers to help.
Great.
Beautiful.
So Rabbi Dale, when you come, you're going to have a welcome garden. It's going to welcome you.
I cannot wait.
Can't wait to see you.
Oh, hey, Terry Tyson.
Hey there.
Sorry, didn't mean to.
Good to see you, and I see Jackie and other people I know. So it's nice to be here.
Yeah.
I'm an observer today.
Very good. Ariella, are you back in Atlanta? Or are you still in Minnesota?
I am back from Minnesota.
Did I say it right?
You did pretty good. It was actually hotter up in Minnesota than it was here. So we were melting. We did not know what to do. We hung out inside.
Oh my goodness.
But Elena's at camp. So I'm flying solo for a couple weeks.
Wow. And Margie, fabulous story and fabulous service to the community.
Thank you. Thank you. I
Awesome.
guess people were both entertained and learned a lot because media is not covering this stuff for some reason.
Yeah.
But thank you, Teresa.
Why are we here?
It's been a big weekend for members of CBH.
Yep.
we'll give people, there are still people rolling in, so I'm just going to give it a minute or two more. If you want to greet each other, don't feel shy. I know that's not generally the issue with our congregation, but hey, Susan.
How you doing?
Good.
I want to say hello to people, but I'm too shy.
Oh, just do it. Just do it.
That's
Since
funny.
when?
That is very funny.
You're silly.
It's right now.
And he says
Hi.
hi.
Hi, Nancy.
Hey.
Oh, we got to let Jackie back in. She's doing part of the meeting today.
No.
Where'd she go?
No.
She said her Zoom froze.
Oh.
Wow, we've got a good 62 people going. That's great.
It's fantastic.
Woohoo!
There's Jackie.
Very good. I think we've gotten people in that are, oh, wait. Nancy's coming back too. We must have kicked their neighborhood off or something, or their internet flexed. It's good to see Lauren Levin. I haven't seen you in a while. And Susan and Jerry. I haven't called everybody's name. I apologize, but I scrolling through, and Elizabeth. I did say once it sometimes felt like I was at the romper room with the mirror. I see Lauren and Susan and Jerry, Robert.
Teresa, were you with anybody for Pride?
Yes.
Were you with anybody you were?
Yes.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. It was fun. I enjoyed it.
Good, good. All right. It was also nice to see our service leaders in the same room.
I know. I like that.
Yeah.
It was great to be in the same room, I can tell you.
All right. Well, Blanche, of course, you asked the first great question. Why are we here? Thank you guys for being here this afternoon. I want to thank you for being here and realize that this has been a long, narrow, longer than we anticipated bridge that we've been on with our transitions, with COVID, with opening up, with trying to figure out. And we want to give you insight into kind of what's been going on, an opportunity to ask questions. And I would ask, put them in the chat, and we will do our best to get to all of them, but we will also write answers and share them with everyone so that everybody, if they couldn't attend today, they can participate. And I just want to say, this is the first of a number of community gatherings we're going to have over the summer as we're talking about who we are and how we all envision CBH individually and collectively. So don't feel like this is the only conversation. It is hopefully to be one of a number of them. And I do also want to just say that we don't have small group meetings today. We will have more meetings that will have some small groups where we can go into and talk about different questions and be a little more interactive. We chose this format because there's just a lot of information to share, and we wanted to try to share it with as many people as possible, and to have an opportunity for questions. So I just want to say this is the first, and it is long on kind of sharing information, and we're doing our best to kind of integrate that. So use the chat for questions. And just to give you a sense of what we're going to talk about, we're going to talk about some new curriculum with the community school. Gathering at CBH, I know there's excitement and maybe frustration about that. We're going to talk about that and how we're doing that and kind of the reasons behind the decisions we've made. And then Rabbi Dale and Amy Lighthill are going to talk about envisioning CBH. So get comfortable, feel free to ask questions, of course, in the chat. And I feel very honored. I've had the opportunity for the past month or so to work with Rabbi Dale and get her insights and her wisdom for the transition we're going through and how it is to be president of a congregation that's going through this much. And I'm so thankful that she's here today. And she's going to offer a blessing for us and an intention for how we hope this next hour and a half go.
Thank you so much, Teresa. And it's so great to see all of you. Some of you I've had a chance to meet, some of you virtually. Some of you I've had a chance to correspond with, and some of you I've just seen your names, and it's just awesome to see your faces on Zoom. So there's a blessing for doing the work of community, and I'd like to say it with you now. It begins like all good Jewish blessings, Baruch Atah, etc. And the last words are la'asok b'tzorchei tzibur. So we're going to say that together, and then I'll translate it. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Ruach HaOlam Asher Kidshanu B'mitzvotav V'tzivanu La'asok B'tzorchei Tzibur. We bless you, source of all, who gives us the opportunity to find holiness through mitzvot, and who enjoins us to engage ourselves in the work of maintaining and building and inspiring community. May this meeting allow us to connect to one another and connect to the ideals of this community and to begin to walk forward to a new chapter in our lives together. And now we're going to hear from Jackie Sherman, who's going to tell us about sustaining the future of CBH through legacy giving. Jackie, you got to unmute.
All right, so I'm trying to do too many things at once, and now my Zoom has crashed. So,
can you
Jackie,
turn off your other device?
You'll need to unmute. Yeah, you'll need to mute your other device, Jackie.
if I mute my other device, you're not going to hear me at all because my Zoom is. Folks, I'm going to have to get off. Can you put me in somewhere else because my Zoom has frozen? I can't. I have to have my slides.
So why don't we go to the new CBHCS?
Great. Hi, everybody. This is Aaron Berger. I have been for the last year and a half your interim executive director, and it has been a pleasure in that role. I will say that for the last several months, we have been working very diligently, and by we, I mean Kate Hennessy and Rabbi G and myself, on how to re-envision the CBHCS. This last year, I think, has been a challenging one, certainly with COVID. we have had some exciting, really exciting developments that have come about in the last couple of months. And I just can't thank Rabbi G or Kate for all of their incredible work in making this happen. So there's a video that's about to start here in just a second that's going to give you insights into CBHCS. As congregants, you may not be a parent of a kid in school, but you should be proud of how much change and how much progression is taking place at CBHCS. So this is a moment of congregational pride, and I'm excited to introduce. So with that, Haley, take it away.
Hi, my name is Kate Hennessy, and I'm the Education Director for Congregation Bayit Haverim's Sunday School Program and Family Programming. My goal at CBH is always to strive to improve and innovate to create the best experience possible for our students and our families. As we continue moving forward, we are investing in our Sunday program in 3 intentional ways. 1, a generous $4,000 grant from Jewish Federation that will allow us to equip each of our classrooms with technology such as laptops, projectors, and whatever else we need to support our students in having a positive multimedia learning experience. Number 2 is a deep investment in our teachers to ensure that they can engage with their students as experts in their field. And number 3, thrillingly, we are partnering with Shalom Learning, an innovative and growing curriculum that is supporting a new and relevant Jewish educational experience. As part of these efforts to really build and invest in our program, I spent a lot of time and effort researching our best options for curriculum that will engage our students while aligning with CBH values. I did a lot of research on my own, and I talked to a lot of Jewish educators, and then I discovered Shalom Learning. What I love about Shalom Learning is not only is it engaging and hands-on, but it's incredibly innovating. I really see this as the future of where Jewish education is going. I love the Jewish values lens that the curriculum is built around, and I love that it's designed to be seamless between in-person and online programming. As educators, this creates a platform for us and a resource that can help us to consistently support our students' Jewish educational experience. Shalom Learning also has a lot of built-in support and professional development for our teachers, which was another big focus of mine. I wanted us to have the best teachers possible to engage with our students. And to do that, we have to create a structure within which our teachers can really strive. So I think between our raising our teacher pay rate this year and also the way that all this is built in with this professional development in Shalom Learning will create that structure. The Shalom Learning curriculum has gotten great endorsements as well.
Hi, I'm Rabbi Alana Perry, Director of the Jewish Education Collaborative at Jewish Federation. I'm here to say how happy I am to support our community partnership with Shalom Learning. Shalom Learning is a nationally renowned and highly respected Jewish education platform. During the past year, the Jewish Education Collaborative seized an opportunity to partner with Shalom Learning to bring this excellent technology platform into more of our local programs at an affordable cost. This partnership has enabled many of Atlanta's Jewish education programs to accelerate meaningful learning, both online and face-to-face. The program continues to gain traction as more people continue to come to appreciate both the quality and the convenience that Shalom Learning provides. Locally, the number of Atlanta congregations who are adopting the Shalom Learning resources continues to grow. Some congregations have adopted one of 2 Hebrew curricula offered by Shalom Learning to teach both Hebrew decoding and prayers. Others have adopted Shalom Learning's Jewish values curriculum for Judaics, and some places have embraced both. Every congregation in this partnership has access to training resources and consulting services as well through Shalom Learning, as well as a roster of trained teachers across the country who can teach remotely in any Shalom Learning program, either as substitutes or on a more permanent basis. Teachers and education directors love the Shalom Learning curricula because the high quality lesson plans are ready for immediate application in the classroom, but they're also flexible enough to be adapted to each teacher's interests and strengths. And students love Shalom Learning resources too, because lessons are fun and interactive, and they often integrate technology. It's also not a static curriculum, meaning that Shalom Learning's leadership is continually working to evolve and improve the content and the approach based on feedback and best practices in the field. This is something I really appreciate. From a federation standpoint, we are thrilled to serve as a bridge between our congregations and Shalom Learning because we know they are a strong and reliable partner that will help to accelerate innovative teaching and exciting learning in our supplemental Jewish education programs. Shalom Learning has been a great partner for our Atlanta Jewish community, and we can't wait to see the ways in which they can help us to grow. Thanks for your time.
King Solomon famously said in Proverbs, "You should teach a child according to their way." This means finding ways to engage with the student according to their individual personality and not forcing them to fit into a generic mold. As a Jewish educator, this is something by which I steer my career. Different students have different learning types, and I want to support and celebrate that. Having the options of traditional learning, movement-based learning, learning through art and sound, and now learning with quality visual references and video clips is all part of that vision to elevate and celebrate every student. This is a key component and value of the CBH Community School. Not only do we embrace differences, but we celebrate them. And I want to provide clarity for those who are rightly wondering what kind of rabbinic presence they can expect this year during all the staff transitions at CBH. We are fortunate to have Rabbi Dale step in as our interim rabbi, and she and I have already begun the collaboration process to figure out how she can best show up to support our Sunday school. From our first meeting, Rabbi Dale has already expressed incredible excitement and enthusiasm for finding ways to bring a rabbinic touch to our school this year.
Shalom, I'm Rabbi Dale Friedman, CBH's interim rabbi, and I'm so excited to be part of this community. And one of the things that really draws me is the CBH Community School and the creative and visionary leadership of Kate Hennessy, the new curriculum that's going to be so exciting to see rolled out. And I look forward to praying with the school families. I look forward to learning and teaching and celebrating together. It's going to be a great year.
One of our most popular returning Sunday teachers, Henry Lewis, was kind enough to put together a little sample for us.
Good morning to the grown-ups of my possible new students. Welcome to this mini demonstration. My name is Henry. My pronouns are he and him, and I taught 7th grade this past year with CBH Community School. I've also been involved with the school since joining the substitute list in December of 2016. I absolutely love being a part of this school. It connects me with the students. I love working with the students, the connection I'm making with both my synagogue as well as to stay connected with another generation. Also, what I want to share with you today is Shalom Learning. This is a brand new curriculum that we're rolling out this fall at the school, and we're very excited for all the variety and the enhancements that it brings to our school. This can be done, by Zoom or in person. All lessons can be done either way, so it gives us a lot more flexibility. And that also means, of course, we'll have the technology in the classroom so that we can supplement with additional items, videos, or other things that we may find that can be very appropriate, but we did not have the ability to share before. So that's also very exciting. And so I'm going to walk us through very quickly a lesson. This particular lesson about Gevarah, or inner strength, is designed for 3rd to 4th graders, and all the lessons are about 2 hours of instruction time, depending on breaks and recess. So first thing we start with, of course, is what's the schedule? What's the calendar for today? So we can see we have a welcome, we have a set of activities, we might have recess, break, if we're on Zoom, step away for a few minutes, and then come back, have some more activities, and then of course the wrap up to try and tie up the day's lesson plan in a nice neat bow as well as you can. To me, the welcome is absolutely critical for how I want my class to go. The reason for that is it's a chance to help draw the students in, get them focused on the day, and to check in, build the relationships, kind of find out where everybody's head is. Did you not sleep well last night? Are you excited about a soccer game? So how can we connect, and how can I understand how where each student's mind is, so that I can help pull them into the class so that they can be contributing members of class and be participating for the next couple of hours. So that's how, I like to really use that particular part. Then we move on to talking about what's the main topic of the day. What's our theme? Obviously here we have Gevarah, and this is the theme. We could share some examples and begin the conversation. We can move in and we'll relate it to biblical stories that, showed on this. Talk about Moses, how about Aaron? Where does that come into play? Right here, we have a video clip that Shalom Learning provides us. We also have the ability to insert our own video clip or pictures and slides that go with it. When we're talking about the text study, when we're talking about biblical stories, let's bring this home to them. How can they connect it to who they are and relate it to their world? In this particular lesson plan, there was not an activity that has them doing more than just conversation or watching a video. And some of the lesson plans do. So we have a chance to insert something. One possible activity for Gevarah could be, handing out construction paper to each student, have them roll it into a column, stack books on it, and see how many books it takes before it collapses. Then get a new piece of construction paper, crumple it up, then smooth it out again. It may look the same. How many books does it take this time before it collapses? So what's the difference? Crumpled construction paper can represent the fragility of inner strength. It can also show, how fragile we are on the inside that people may not see if you've smoothed out your paper very well. So let's talk about that. What can we do to support someone who has the crumpled paper? What can you do to help support a family member or a friend who is the crumpled paper instead of the smooth, sturdy paper? Then we can also move into the text study, as I alluded to earlier. In this case, talking about Rabbi Hillel, some of Rabbi Hillel's teachings. Once again, bringing that back to how is it relevant? What can we learn from this? What's related to strength? Bravery? What about fear? Can you be brave and afraid at the same time? Can you be extremely strong in your inner strength and still be afraid? I'd say absolutely. Then, we try and pull it all together and help continue to give them the opportunity to connect it to themselves. What can they do in the coming week to help show Gevarah? What can they do to help strengthen their Gevarah? How do you strengthen your strength? How can you help others? How can you recognize in others, family members or friends? So there is a very brief example of where we are on a possible lesson plan. Hopefully that was helpful. And once again, as I said, hopefully you're the grown-ups of my potential new students. And if not my students, then I'll see you in the hallways as your students are in a different class. Thank you so much.
We are really excited and proud of all the work we're doing to innovate our Sunday program and support our students, parents, and teachers. CBH Community School is a part of Beit Havorim. So these achievements are something for us all to cavell about together, whether or not you have a child in the Sunday school. So please spread the word, be excited with us. And I'm so thankful and honored to be on this journey with everyone at CBH. If you have any questions at all, I warmly invite you to reach out to me to set up a one-on-one appointment so we can speak further. You can email me to set up an appointment using my email address, education@cbhatlanta.org. Shalom, friends.
Jackie, are you ready to roll? Just need you to unmute.
I think Haley has to unmute me.
You're good, Jackie.
Okay, great. So usually I come to you as the treasurer. Today I'm coming as the chair of the Life and Legacy program at CBA. Oh, God. Love it when all your technology fails at the same time. So sorry about that. Okay, I'm here today as the chair of the Legacy program at CBH. Some of you are familiar with it, others not so much. This is a program and a way to invest in the future of CBH.
No video, Jackie, no PowerPoint.
You can't see it? My computer says I'm screen sharing.
No PowerPoint.
We can see it now. We can see it now, Jackie.
Okay, thanks. So what's the Life and Legacy program? It's an opportunity to make a commitment to contribute to the long-term stability and future of CBH. We are establishing an endowment. We've never had one before, and we will have one by the time we start the high holidays. This program is supported by the Harold Grinsbroom Foundation, which invests across the country in building capacity in Jewish communities. We are one of 18 organizations in Atlanta who's been working for the past 2.5 years with the Atlanta Jewish Federation and the Atlanta Jewish Foundation to establish and run a legacy giving program. So this is an opportunity for you to include CBH in your estate planning. Estate planning may not be something most of us want to spend a lot of time thinking about, but it's an amazing way for you to make a contribution to the future of many organizations, and in this case, to CBH. Making a legacy gift is a simple 2-step process. You fill out a letter of intent stating your desire to include CBH in estate planning, and then you complete a gift confirmation form once you've actually included CBH in whatever form of estate document you choose. I'm asking you to contact a member of the CBH Legacy team or to agree to speak with one of us when we contact you. This is the team. We are a mighty few. Andrea Finn, Allison Coles, Sandra Menasash, Shelley Rose, Reed Perlman, and myself. And I want to end by thanking the 62 plus members of our community who have already signed an LOI, many of whom have already filed a gift confirmation form letting us know that CBH has in fact been included in their estate plan. So if you have any questions, please contact me or anybody else on the team. You should be hearing from one of us. Thanks.
Thanks, Jackie. And thanks to all the 62 people that have become legacy donors or potential donors. I know that we have actually received our first bequest. And so it's pretty amazing. And I just want to thank everybody. We're going to take some time to talk about the gathering at CBH. I know lots of people have feelings about it. Give us an opportunity to give you kind of where we are and what we're trying to do. And I just want to say that, like, I empathize that it's been hard to have perfect answers in this time, and trying to roll things out in a way that holds intention, kind of our desire to be together, along with our desire to be inclusive to everyone and be safe for everyone. And it has not been an easy process. So I just want to thank Rabbi Dale is going to talk a little bit about how we're opening up and how we're gathering, and go from there. So thank you.
So thank you, Teresa. This is probably the issue that people are most urgently concerned about, which is how do we go out of the isolation of our own homes and our own screens? How do we go from being boxes, windows in a screen, to being reconnected in real life, as they say? I want to say that I don't consider this to be reopening. CBH never closed. CBH has had a vibrant spiritual and communal life online for the past year and a half. What we're talking about is regathering. So I'm going to ask Haley to share some slides so we can talk about what are the values that are going into our decision making, and where we are right now, which is not where we'll always be. So regathering CBH. Let's continue to the next slide, Haley. What are the values? I want to articulate 4 key values, which, as Teresa pointed out, are often in tension with one another. Next slide, please. The first, which is one of the holiest mitzvot in all of Jewish observance and tradition, which basically trumps everything else, excuse that expression if that's offensive to you, which takes precedence over, shall we say, all other mitzvot except for a couple, is pikuach nefesh, preserving life, preserving health. And in the case of CBH, we've decided that the best way to do that is to follow the very best scientific guidance that we can. We have a COVID task force that has been meeting since the beginning of the pandemic and offering its guidance as time goes on. And that guidance has shifted, obviously, as both the facts and the scientific understanding have shifted. Okay, next value. Next slide. Kol Yisrael arevim ze lezeh. All of our people are responsible for one another. So when we think about how do we observe that value of pikuach nefesh, of keeping one another safe, we have to think about our responsibility to everybody in our community. Next slide. The third value, which is really key to this community, is shivyon, or equity. And when we talk about equity in this context, we're talking about making sure that some people don't get left behind as we begin to gather. People particularly who have been able to participate possibly more actively in CBH's communal life this last year and a half than they were able to before, because it's been accessible with the online mode of gathering. So that's going to play a real important role in how we regather, that we're not going to leave anyone behind. And finally, the last value is Shalom Bayit, communal harmony. And even though it's very likely that not everybody's going to be satisfied with the way in which we're approaching this very, very complex process of regathering, we really ask that the values of mutual respect and maintaining communal harmony be upheld as central to us. So how are we going to do this? The first thing we're going to do is make a mutual agreement, a brit. Next slide, please, Haley. It's called Brit Briut. It is a covenant of mutual well-being. A covenant, you know, the Jewish people has a covenant with the eternal, but this is a covenant between the members of CBH. I know there are other covenants in our communal life. There's a covenant for Brit Mitzvah families. There have been other Britot, other covenants. This particular covenant is based on these values, and it lists certain responsibilities that the congregational leadership, the staff, and the board will uphold, specifically getting the best scientific advice, doing everything we can to keep everybody safe, updating what we do as the events and science change, and finally, engaging in what has been called multi-access experiences, making sure that when we have in-person gathering, that we're also going to have online gathering. And the idea of multi-access is that you will be able to participate fully if you're on site or if you're online. And that is involving some investment in technology and know-how that we don't yet have, but we will have to be able to do that going forward. We're going to actually go backward a little bit, I think, Haley. To the current. I just want to say the other piece of the Brit, the congregation members piece of the Brit, is that we're asking members to commit to follow the protocols for health and well-being, which along with the Brit are on our website. And I think Haley was going to drop into the chat the links for those things. So congregants agree to follow those protocols, to do everything that we can to keep one another safe, to obviously stay away if anybody feels ill, and finally, to do so with a smile. It doesn't really say that, but what it does say is to be conscious of speech around this so that we can engage in lashon tov, good speech, positive speech, as we are helping one another to stay well. Now we're ready for what are the protocols. I'm going to just summarize them, but you can read about them again in detail on the website. So we already talked about multi-access experiences. Next. Outdoors. When we gather outdoors, as we will on July 16th for our first in-person service, everybody is welcome, with the proviso that if it is crowded, we ask people who are not vaccinated to mask. Or if people who are not vaccinated wish to sing, we ask them to mask. Anybody is welcome to mask at any time. It is only required in that circumstance. So we want everybody to feel comfortable. We want everybody to feel like whatever you need to do to feel safe is absolutely fine. Next slide, please, Haley. Indoors, we will welcome people who are vaccinated at this moment to participate in worship and programming. We're not going to have any indoor services quite yet. We'll be ramping up to that over time. Right now, we're going to be gathering outside. This obviously means that right now kids under 12 cannot gather for worship at CBH. Next slide. For multi-generational gatherings such as Brit Mitzvah, vaccinated people are welcome to come inside of CBH. And there are limited exceptions for non-vaccinated people who can come, like the siblings of a Brit Mitzvah student or younger cousins. So a limited number of those would be allowed to come in masked, obviously. Peter asked in the chat about the school and COVID protocols, and we are going to have a COVID task force meeting, I believe it is this coming week, in which we hope to hear what the recommendations of the CDC are about schools. They were supposed to come out with some new recommendations this month, so we will know more about the school very shortly, but right now that is not included in the protocols. Okay, I think that's it for what the protocols say. I want to tell you about High Holy Days at CBH this year. High Holy Day plans. The main services and kids services will be on Zoom. And I know that that is disappointing because I have heard about how fabulous CBH services at St. Bart's have been and will be again, God willing. But one of the key values of CBH is being welcoming to members of the wider community who are not members of our community. And we simply cannot have 700-800 people together not knowing what their vaccination status is, and not for the length of time that services last. So we will have our services on Zoom. For some of them, the leaders will gather in the synagogue so that at least it will be from CBH. We will be having in-person gatherings outside throughout the holiday season, and I've listed them here for you just so you get a sense. We're going to do some amazing Tashlich gatherings, which will include shofar and the vocal ensemble, members of the chorus, and there'll be multiple opportunities so we don't have too many people at any one. The second day chant service is going to be outside. There's going to be a Rosh Hashanah Seder / family picnic. There's going to be a teen Tashlich hike, a Shabbat Shuva picnic with the chorus in some lovely setting to be determined, and multiple Sukkot picnics, including one for the school families. So it is very much our intention to have as many gatherings in person as possible. And then one more slide. On Friday, July 16th, we will, as I said, have our first Kabbalat Shabbat together in real time in the flesh at CBH. And that service will feature the band and Will and myself. And before the service starts, we're going to put up a mezuzah to rededicate our building for this new time of gathering after the pandemic. And I just want to say one other thing about that service, which is that it's the day before Tisha B'Av, which is a day of mourning on the Jewish calendar. So we're going to have a chance in the service to just acknowledge some of the losses that we individually and communally and nationally have gone through in this past really, really hard time. So it's going to be happy and sad in a perfectly Jewish way. I know that there are some questions that came in through the chat, and Teresa is going to do her best to answer them. Teresa, we can't hear you.
Sorry, my dog was snoring, so now I've shaken him. If weather is bad for a service that we're anticipating to be outdoors, we will let people know and probably move it to Zoom as we can. Someone else had asked if you're reading, what are we stipulating proof of vaccination to gather entry, garner entry. And we're asking people to sign the BREAT. We are not asking people to show their vaccination cards as it relates. Are there other questions that people have? I don't see any more coming in the chat. Yes, Ray, Rabbi Dale, would you be willing to talk again about the Brit Mitzvah and kind of the process? It's a little confusing.
It is confusing. Yes, there will be restroom access if we're outside. That's a really good question. The question is about multi-generational life cycle events like Brit Mitzvah. Yes, we would love to have those events be outside because then they can be far more inclusive. And that is the stated preference of the COVID task force, but they can be inside. So that's you know, if it's possible to do it outside, that's the preference. And I do want to say vis-a-vis weather that for July 16th, if it's raining, we're going to go on Zoom. And, you know, we may, as we move along, move outdoor activities indoors, but we don't want to do it on the spot that day because that would be complex and we may have people who are not vaccinated.
Paul asked about restroom access. That would be me. That's a very good question. And I haven't talked through that. Has the task force talked through that, Rabbi Dale? I knew they had. I just realized.
Yeah, I think the understanding is that the bathrooms in the building would be open if we're there. And if we're at a park, we're going to go somewhere, if we're going to be there for any length of time at all, that will have restrooms available.
And this is Aaron. I'm just chiming in on that as well. We're also ensuring that proper protocols are taken from a cleanliness standpoint, both before a service and after a service, so that restrooms, and even if the service is outside, that we'll be able to have restroom access if we're at CVH. So that is something we've been considering.
Okay. The scientific basis for not gathering vaccinated people for high holidays, we aren't gathering for the large meetings. And this, believe it or not, was a long, hard decision with the COVID task force as we talked with it and as the COVID task force made their recommendations to the board. And part of it is about inclusivity and being able for children with families under 12 to participate in the larger services that we have and not have to make a choice about it. And we feel very strongly about inclusivity and kind of how we're trying to do that, but we're also trying to temper that with outdoor events where everyone is welcome. So there are the 4 largest services, yes, that are on Zoom. However, there are opportunities for us to gather and be in community with other events outside.
May I chime in just about Robert Gross's question about adult education?
Sure.
So I would not see any problem for people who are vaccinated who've signed the BREAT to participate indoors in adult education activities. We're eager to get life coming back into the building. The second day chant service, I think got omitted from my list. It's actually going to be outdoors in person.
Are there other questions?
Oh, that
you mean for the weekly chant service? Is that? Elizabeth, you meant the weekly chant gathering that we have? So that will be.
It will be in person and also on Zoom because that's our commitment to multi-access, and same with adult education. Those opportunities will be available for people who are not prepared to come on site. And that's a really, really key value that we want to make it possible for everybody to stay connected and involved, whatever their situation might be. And there's one other thing we didn't say, Teresa.
Yes.
Which is there are some people who have some sort of a very precise, specific health reason that they can't be vaccinated or something like that. If that's the case, all you need to do is talk to Julie and she'll make an arrangement for you. So we're not trying to be exclusive of anybody, but we are really strongly, obviously, encouraging everybody to get vaccinated. We might be ready to move on.
All right, it sounds like it. Well, I'm going to turn it over to Rabbi Dale and Amy Lighthill. I'm excited about this next phase as we envision who we are. And I am just can't wait to hear all that's going on. So thank you.
Okay, so I'm going to go first. And what I want to tell you about is a little bit of Torah before we get to the tachlis, the brass tacks part, because it's always good to start with Torah. So I want to share with you a teaching from an amazing sage. His name was Rabbi Kalonymus Kalman Shapira, and he was the Warsaw Ghetto rabbi, a Hasidic rabbi who had a vision in his head for what an intentional, intense Jewish community could look like. And he wrote an absolutely gorgeous treatise outlining his vision for community called B'nai Machshava Tova, which means conscious community. So I just want to share with you two teachings from Rabbi Kalonymus Kalman Shapira. The first is, the first principle and basis of our community is love. Love for the Jewish people and love for our friends in the strongest possible manner. And I think that he could have been speaking about Beit Chaverim very easily. At our base in this moment of transition has to be love. Love for the members of this community, love for this community's heritage, love for this community's diversity, love for the Jewish people, and love for the whole human family. That's got to be what's our bedrock. And the path forward can be built on this love with compassion, understanding, and patience. And Rabbi Kalonymus Kalman Shapira says, the key to becoming who we can be as a community is being able to envision where we want to go. The greatest stumbling block, he says, is the critical voice in our head that says, this isn't the way we do things, or that's not how it works here, or we'll never be able to do that. The heart of building a conscious community is having what he calls ruach mishuga, a crazy spirit, one that can imagine what has never been. So, in this moment of transition from the known and storied past of CBH to the CBH of the future, we need to envision the CBH of our dreams, the community of beloved friends that will inspire us to grow, to learn, to serve, and to repair our broken world in new and ever more profound ways. Envisioning CBH is the process through which we'll do this. We're counting on every single member of this community to step up and help to shape the vision for the community's future, which will in turn shape the search for our settled rabbi. The indefatigable and imaginative Amy Lighthill is heading up this effort with her amazing team, and she's going to let you know what's in the works. Take it away, Amy.
Thank you, Rabbi Dale. That was lovely. Dear Havarim, I am honored and excited to be sharing with you the inauguration of the Envisioning Committee. Haley, could you put up slide 1, please? Thank you. We are well aware right now of how unsettling and even scary transitions can feel, right? But it's also a period of great opportunity. And I am certain we will emerge on a path that will be as familiar as it is fresh and as comforting as it is challenging. Could I have the second slide, please? So allow me to introduce to you the other members of our Envisioning Core Committee. Besides Rabbi Dale and myself, longtime congregant and recently retired Professor Marian Myers, and Peter Isbister, a CBH parent with 3 kids in our school, along with Teresa Prestwood, who needs no introduction, acting as our board liaison, forms the core committee, and there you see us dancing at a recent meeting behind me there. We'll spotlight Marian and Peter later so you can connect their faces to the names. Our core group is charged with creating a clear, specific job description for the search for our next rabbi based on our congregation's assessment of what we love about CBH, what we're ready to change, and where we want to go next. We're already underway with a 3-step process of gathering information from you, our all-important body. When we have it condensed to what we learn, we'll be able to reformulate it into what we want to see in our next leader to help us evolve into the vision we will have created. Could I have the next slide, please? As a congregation, we have now set out from our comfortable, familiar CBH home, and we've entered the woods, to use a musical theater metaphor that I know many of you will love. I will obviously be playing the witch, Rabbi Dale will be playing Little Red Riding Hood, and our intrepid committee members will take all the other parts, but only during the setup scenes, because you, our community actors, will be taking over. So we're setting our course, being careful what we wish for. And our goal, of course, is to present our ideal new queen / king / giant / Tevye, choose your own leader archetype, by the end of the 2nd act, which is the hiring process. Could I have the next slide, please? So the first layer of our 3-layer cake of information gathering will be a congregation-wide survey, which will be winging its way into your inbox via SurveyMonkey early in July. There will be less than 10 questions, and your thoughtful, honest answers are extremely important for the process, both for us to get accurate information and for you to know you have made your voice heard clearly and exactly as you want it to be. Don't be afraid to say what you really feel. We want and need to know all of it, your joys and your sorrows around our Jewish community. You can answer anonymously or include your name as you choose. Questions will include, what do you value most about CBH? And what, if anything, about CBH has disappointed you? We'll also ask if and how you are willing and able to help make CBH a place you treasure even more than you already do. That question is especially important as we already know we'll need more folks working actively in all the many realms of CBH's activities in the future. In fact, a team is being assembled now with the help of a consultant just to work on this, the development of our kahila, the lay leadership. So, when you get your survey, please set aside a few minutes to read the questions, think about them, and let them settle before you answer. We will read every answer with our full attention, and we'll use the information in the 2 ways I mentioned. First, so we can discover what's most important to know about our community's desires, and secondly, to help us design the 2nd layer of our cake, small online focus groups, which everyone will be invited to join later this summer for further discussion and reflection. Could I have the next slide, please? Thank you, Haley. These groups will be led by congregants who identify as a part of that particular focus group, which are likely to include CBH parents, community elders, and LGBTQ+, among others. Here you can see a couple sharing deeply at an earlier CBH Camp Ramah retreat. Leaders of the focus groups will share their record of the concerns, hopes, and questions raised in their group with the envisioning committee. Could I have the next slide, please? For the icing on the informational cake, which in our congregation's case would be unicorn flavored, the envisioning folks will be consulting also with individuals to listen and learn more about the relevant history and ongoing values that make CBH strong, diverse, and vibrant. And could I have the last slide, please? Once all of this data has been gathered, studied, and aggregated, the envisioning committee, with Rabbi Dale at the helm, will work its magic to cull the key points and from them create a skill set of qualities and accomplishments which our community wants the incoming rabbi to have so that our hopes and dreams can be realized over our next chapter. We'll be advertising for this person during the normal rabbinic hiring cycle around December, January, at which point we'll enter Act 2, the search. That search will go on through the early spring, and we hope will bring forth some excellent candidates for our consideration. If all goes well, we'll be aiming for a start date of about a year from now. You can turn off the slides now. Thank you, Haley. And Haley, could you spot Marian Myers, who I saw with her partner, Lauren Rich? So we can all wave at her, thankfully. Thank you, Marian, for serving. And Peter Isbister as well. I know he's here somewhere. There he is, waving. Are you giving this wave, Peter? Perfect, thank you. Okay, so I'm very grateful to have them to work with. Together we have a pretty nice broad variety of backgrounds that we're bringing to this work. So meanwhile, while this work goes on, under the wise and loving guidance of our own Rabbi Dale, we will be well nourished on many levels. I know how much I'm looking forward to our first in-person service on July 16th. As we proceed, we promise to keep everybody well informed of our progress, and we'll be glad to receive questions and suggestions as well via the transition times, which will continue to be ably edited by Sandra Menace. We will work hard to move forward briskly yet thoroughly. Our request is that everyone participate in the survey, and if at all possible in a focus group. These methods are how we will know what you want your congregation to stand for and how it can best nourish you. So make your voice heard, Havarim. Get up and stand up for your rights, as the strangely non-Jewish yet wonderful musician Bob Marley advised us to do. I'm very happy that under Rabbi Dale's direction, we're ready to get underway. Look for your survey soon. Once we send it, you're going to have about 10 days to get it back to us, so don't forget about it while you're binging on Stitzel. Rabbi Dale?
Thank you, Amy. Amazing. I think we're going back to Teresa.
So before we close, I want to add one thing. Haley, would you spotlight Aaron? Okay. Many of you have not had the opportunity this last year to work with Aaron Berger as our interim executive director. He came in and helped us raise more money at our High Holy Days at a time when we were so worried we didn't know how we were going to get through things. He helped us put in some processes, and Aaron his last day is Tuesday. And I'm sad to see him go, but I'm excited that he has taken a job that is his dream job ever. And isn't that the best thing when you can leave someplace and go to your dream job? I'm excited. I'm sad. So I want to say first, thank you to Aaron. And I wanted to share something, Aaron, that you will receive from us.
Is it ticking? I don't.
No. Hold on just 1 second. I'm not used to having desktop one. This is not going where I wanted it to. Aaron, one of the things I've learned about you is your love for Ruth Bader Ginsburg. And a couple of times you've shared with us quotes from her and how she was meaningful to you. And in looking for something, I found this piece of art that's dried flowers, indicating one of her favorite lace collars.
That's really
and I thought it would be something that you can put up in your new place to remind you that real change, enduring change, happens one step at a time. And you have been with us for this last year, taking us through a myriad of changes, one step at a time. And I just want to say thank you. And I wanted everybody that's here today to hear that and know that you really are appreciated and cared for. And we send you off to Las Vegas with our warmest wishes and hope you will not be a stranger to us at Congregation Bet Hovering.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. It has really, really, really been an honor for me to be a part of this congregation for the last year. We thought for 6 months, and it's been a year of watching people truly rise to challenges that are incredible. And I'm in awe of the congregation. I'm in awe of the people that work there and the people who give so much of their time there. So thank you for letting me have the opportunity. I love the gift, and it will definitely be treasured in my new home. So thank you so much. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you. And I also just wanted to give a quick update on where we are with our search for our next executive director. As you may know, we've had, when we talk about a narrow bridge and we talk about changing directions and we talk about surprises and bumps in the road, well, that explains our ED process. We thought in January we had 2 candidates that were ready to join us. And when we offered them the position, they were not ready and had other opportunities. So we halted for a little bit and then we relisted the position. And then in late March, we had someone that had accepted the position, was all ready to come, and then had an illness arrive that made it hard for her, impossible for her to move jobs at that point and take on a new position. So we've restarted it again, and we are interviewing some candidates, and we are re-talking to some candidates, and hopefully we'll have some more information to share in the coming weeks. But I just wanted to kind of let you know where we were and be transparent about where we've been going. And it's a lot of transition that we had. And I feel now that we have our interim rabbi in place and we're envisioning who we are, it will be much easier for it to attract the executive director that we need to take us to the next level. So I just wanted to share that with you. If you have questions or comments, you can email me board@cbhatlanta.org and ask me questions, or if you want to have a conversation, I'm glad to do that. I want to thank you all for participating today. I know the regathering was not what everybody had hoped. It is the best that we can do, and we will continue to monitor what's going on with COVID, with the new Delta variant that's coming around, with schools starting as protocols change, and we will let you know. Please know you can send me an email, board@cbhatlanta.org, if you have a question or you'd like to have a further conversation. And I want to ask you to think about some things that you can do as we move forward. First, participate in the Envisioning CBH plan, do the survey, parlor meetings, sign your BREAT so that you can participate with us and show that we're all taking each other together and we care for each other. Make a legacy commitment and invest in the future of CBH. Talk to people about the CBH Community School. Enroll your children. Tell your friends it's going to be an awesome year. We have a great opportunity with the new curriculum and kind of shifting that we're doing with the school to really energize not only the school, but our congregation in new ways. And finally, step up to volunteer to sustain and enliven our community in this year of transitions. We have a few opportunities that will be announced very soon, and there'll be lots of opportunity for people to engage in the processes with the envisioning and as we roll everything out. So I want to say thank you to all of you for your patience during this last year. I'll be president till the end of December, so I'm going to say preemptively thank you for your support as we do this. I want to say thank you for engaging and asking the questions that are not always easy to answer. I too am looking forward to July 16th, where I can hug those that have been vaccinated and be around people. It's meaningful, and I hope to see a lot of people on July 16th. As we end out this, because we are Congregation Bet Havarim, we wanted to end with a song to gather us all together. So I turn it back to Rabbi Dale and I say thank you to all of you. And I look forward to engaging with you as we go through the process further. Thank you.
Thank you, Teresa. And I want to give a shout out to Haley Monette, who is our awesome Zoom meister and slide maker and patient person for incredibly last minute entries into the material she's responsible for. Takes it all unflappably and gracefully. I also want to say one other thing, which is, you know that right this minute I'm talking to you from Philadelphia. I will be in Atlanta every month starting July 12th for 10 days each month. And I am available to you to talk by phone, to talk by Zoom, or when I'm in town in person. So please feel free to reach out. I really want to be there for you and with you on your journeys in the coming year. And now let's close with Hine Matov. It is so good to be together. Shevet kulam gam yachad. For all of us to be able to be together. Hine ma tovu manayim. Shevet kulam gam yachad. Hine ma tovu manayim. Shevet kulam gam yachad. Hine ma tov. Shevet kulam gam yachad. Hine ma tov. Shevet kulam gam yachad. Hine ma tovu manayim. Shevet kulam gam yachad. Hine ma tovu manayim. Shevet kulam gam yachad. We would have been happy to unmute everybody to hear you, but then we would have sounded like cacophony. So I hope you enjoyed seeing each other sway and see your lips move to the words, and we will sing together in person, God willing, on July 16th. Can't wait to see you then and see you online sooner. Shabbat Shalom. Oh, Shabbat Shalom. It's not Shabbat Shalom. That just shows what I'm used to. Shavua Tov, a good week, everybody.
Haley, maybe unmute everybody as we all say goodbye.
Unmuted.
Greet each other. It was.
Bye.
Thank you for all the hard work.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Nice,
Bye.
Sweet.
Well,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Everyone.
Wonderful.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh,
Thank you, Aaron, for everything.
thank you.
Thank you, Teresa.
Thank you, Aaron.
Thanks,
Not
everybody.
been easy.
Thank you.
Rabbi Dale, this is Gabby. This is Gabby.
Nice to meet you, Gabby.
Yes.
Yeah. You want to say
Thanks for
hi?
introducing us.
She's a Chihuahua. That's a mix.
Yeah. She's a cutie pie.
Thank you. See you soon.
Blanche, do you know why we met now? No. Got it. You're
I
muted.
knew why we were meeting. I didn't know why we were here. Remember?
That is a bigger question. That's
I-
an existential question, Blanche. We're gonna have to
Yeah, I knew it was a status call on some stuff.
We're going to need Rabbi Dale to give us some dvar on that question. Why are we here, Rabbi Dale?
Yeah. We can ponder it together.
Okay, that's fair.
Rabbi Dale, Blanche will keep you on your toes. Trust